Hi, I'm Chris McMahon. I'm reading through Chapter 1 of my science fiction novel, The Torsetti Diversion. Chapter 1, page 3. He never would have believed in those early days that a twist of fate would put his ex-lover and ex-wife on the same voyage. Carrick viewed the radiation levels critically. No one knew the suspension system better than he did. At the current levels, he was confident the revival would be safe, but how quickly could those levels change? He scrolled through the system icons and isolated the computer controlling the crew's suspension equipment. He flicked the icon towards the main screens. Data flared to life. It was all functioning normally. What is the crew revival time? 2 hours, replied the shipcom. His hands clawed at the floating icons, drilling down to the systems controlling the officers' suspension equipment, completely separate from the crew's. Not for the first time, he lacked the computing power in the dedicated systems. It would take 3 hours for the 6 officers. Anything could happen in that time. He reached for a glowing red icon and dragged it into the center of the field. With a touch, it blossomed into a virtual keyboard. A message hovered over the input field in swollen red letters. Input code to disable presets. He grew lightheaded as the implications of the moment weighed on him. His decision now would change everything. Carrick's fingers teased open the smart seam of his flight fatigue to find the St. Christopher medal on his chest. Gripping it between his thumb and forefinger, his thumb circled the smooth, ancient metal of the backing in anxious circles. The superstitious affectation helped him to relax. Carrick tried to broaden his thinking, letting his mind fall into a free associative state, searching for any other way out of this. Starburst was en route to Torsetti, less than a year out. They had completed their original mission to Epsilon Eridani, then diverted to the small G-class star system 12 light-years from Earth. As the moment stretched out, no flash of inspiration came to save him. The evidence was clear, and reviving the whole crew was the prudent solution. Eventually the pressure to do something became unbearable. He let go of the medal. The seam of his fatigue slithered closed, the 2 halves writhing against each other until the collar tightened against his neck. Something danced at the corner of his vision. No, not now! Relaxing his mind had been a mistake. Carrick felt the fugue coming on. In the fugue state, his mind would slide into a dream, while externally he presented as catatonic, immobile and unresponsive for up to hours. It was a legacy of altered genetics inherited from his grandfather. No one knew about the flaw, and it was vital it stayed that way. Each time he roused from suspension, it seemed to be getting worse. Increasingly, he was using drugs to control it. He reached for his pocket, his fingers clutching for one of the stim tabs he always kept there, but he was too slow. The unstoppable wave of the rising fugue state engulfed him.